everyone, this is CricketSong with Inner Wisdom, and you're watching another episode of Wyrds, Witches, and Witchcraft. And I'm here with my usual co-host, Obsidian Fire. Say hello.
Hello, bonjour tout le monde, j'espère que ça va bien, moi ça va plutôt pas mal. Aujourd'hui on se retrouve donc comme d'habitude pour un nouvel épisode avec un nouveau sujet et que j'espère qu'il vous intéressera.
Yay! Hey, Liloken. We were supposed to have Cole Ledbetter tonight on the show with us to talk about sigil magic, but unfortunately he hasn't showed up yet. So hopefully everything's okay with Cole. Cole, if you end up hopping in on the chat or you end up catching this, please let me know and I can send you the link, or I did send you the link. I think, did I send him the link? Yes, I sent him the link. Let me just double check now. Did I send him the link? Now I can't even remember. Let me just make sure I sent Cole the link. Yeah, I think I did. I'm so confused right now. But we're going to still discuss sigils, sigils for now. Let me just make sure I actually sent that to him. I did. I sent him the link. Phew, I did. I sent him the link.
Of course you did.
But actually, is that the link to get into the chat or just to watch the chat? Let me make sure I sent him a link to get into the show, because now I'm wondering if I sent him the wrong link. Sorry about that, Cole. If that's what I did, that would be bad. Bad CricketSong. Bad Cricket. Let me send. Yeah, maybe that's what happened. Yeah, it looks like a different link. Sorry about that, Cole, if I sent you the wrong link, although it looks like he hasn't seen it anyway. So I don't know. Maybe he'll pop in.
Difference then.
Huh?
It doesn't make any difference then.
I know, right? Whether I sent him the right. Anyway, but yeah, so.
Sigils. So where
Did he go to the wrong hangout? I hope he didn't go to the wrong hangout. Someone, Liloken, saying he went to the wrong hangout. Anyway, sigils.
Feel alone.
I know, right? Sigil. So you use sigils in your practice, yeah?
Yeah, I do. It's not the most common method I use, but I do use it regularly, let's say, regularly. I have one method that I prefer to create sigil, but there is a lot of different possibility to create one.
Right, and you use the seals too, which are sigils. Yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily with the sigil, but I do use seal too, my own, and some of pre-made seal, if I may say.
Do you use when you work with sigils? Do you use the pre-made sigils no? Because me neither. I craft my own sigils. Because in that book that I had mentioned, I think in the last hangout, the Magician's Companion, they have those the pre-made sigils in here, and I wondered if you had if you ever used the pre-made sigils.
No.
No, yeah, me neither.
I tend to go for my own because I feel like it is more. My intentions are more clear, and I'm more focused with my own than using a sigil that doesn't really inspire me anything.
Yeah.
Okay, I know it was made for this or this, but it doesn't talk to me. So it's better, in my opinion, to use mine and to use those.
Right. I was just well, I guess we should maybe talk briefly for someone who may not be familiar with sigils, what they actually are. I was just thinking maybe, if someone's just tuning in maybe new individuals who have never, like, what the heck is a sigil?
Well, I guess once again, I wouldn't be the better person to explain that because it needs to be clear, and I'm not clear enough in English.
Yes,
So,
you are.
no, I'm not. So, I would say it's like a little drawing or picture you can make to sum up your intention, sum up a word of power, kind of, into one image you can focus on and use to release the power, release your spell. I guess, kind of. It's not clear enough.
Oh,
Can
I would agree with that. And I'm trying to look. So the definition in here says a seal or a sign, and it's a analogic representation of a word or a name, like a word of power or a name, or it could even be a sentence that is
yeah,
made into a single glyph or
yeah,
symbol.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's way better explained this way.
But it is, it's like a symbol or a representation or a glyph or
Mhm.
something that represents an intention, like you said.
Uh-huh. Yes, it is. Yeah, personally, I can use a sigil. I tend to use a sigil into another crafting spell, in the process of crafting a spell. I do use a sigil into that, and rarely, if not at all, use a sigil all alone. But you can if you want, but I just do not.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
tend to use it as part of a um a
of the
spell. I don't generally use it by itself either.
well, maybe no, well, no. I was about to say something, but then realized that it was wrong. I do carve sigils onto the wax of my candles, but it's not alone. Then it is it's used with candle magic. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm
what?
trying to find some examples of a sigil. Like the pre-made seal sigils that we were talking about. I was
Well, if you are familiar with the Kabbalah, there are some sigils to represent the four archangel.
Oh yeah,
Archangel,
yeah, there are. I was trying
major
to see if I could find them in here.
those one are pretty well known, I
Yeah.
suppose. So those
Wow.
one could be nice to show, maybe.
Yeah, do you have I'm looking for
No,
them.
I don't. All my books are somewhere
I
else.
know. I'm looking and of course when I don't want to find them, I find them. And when I want to find them, I
You
can't
didn't.
find them. Right? Let me see. I think I found one. The section of the Enochian secret language of the angels.
Yeah.
But that's not what I was thinking of when I think of sigils. In my head, when I think of sigils, they're very different than a seal for me. I have this specific image in my head when I think of a sigil. And then when
Well,
I think of a seal, I think of, a more
yeah,
elaborate thing. For me, sigils are very
it's not the
simple.
yeah, absolutely. It's not, at least in my opinion, it's absolutely not the same thing. A seal is contained into a circle, two
Right,
circle most of the
right,
time, actually, with some other geometric form and writings and
right, right.
symbols and numbers, maybe, and
Yeah,
there is
letters.
actually sigil in it, but
Right,
it's not a sigil. It's not
right.
the same thing.
That's what I think too. Yeah, these are runes. Runes and sigils kind of look
alike.
similar to me.
Yeah.
Well,
if we agree on the fact that a sigil represents an idea, an intention,
here we go.
something, then
Here we go. I got them.
You got it? Great.
Yep, I found it. Oh, of course, there's a whole section on sigils in here. Duh, Sherry. Here we go. Let's see. Here's
Khmer.
Yeah.
Sigils.
There we go. Here's sigils. So an example of sigils. And, yeah, seal of Zazel, spirit, intelligence. And then an example of a seal I was just looking at. Of course, I flipped past it. I love this book. Have I told you how much I love this book? I love this book. That's runes. Seal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
HMD.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we could.
Yeah. I was about to ask you, when you use sigil, what method do you use?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
Okay, so I will answer, but you first.
So, I mean, I've used the magic square, which is what I was looking at in here. I've used that in the past, where you use a magic square and then you draw the sigil on the magic square. I've used that before. Not the Saturn. I'm trying to look to see which is the square I've used. Oh, I don't know. I don't see it in here. I've done that before, but what I tend to do is more like intuitive, like, writing out the word or the intention in a sentence and crossing out the double letters and then assigning each the letter kind of like putting it together in some way once you have no more vowels and no more, and kind of creating a more artsy kind of sigil thing. But yeah, those are only the two ways that I've used.
Okay. On the I've used this method too, the one you've just explained, because it's kind of an easy method, quick method to create a sigil. If you need, so you write your word or sentence, as CricketSong just said, and then you'll cross the double letter. I do cross the vowels too.
Yeah.
To retain just a few letters, and then you can create a sigil with that. But the method I use most often, if not always, is starting from this point when you had already double crossed the double letters and the vowels and all. Then I take that and I use the Pythagoras table,
Yep.
to convert letters in number, and then I use planetary Kamiya.
Oh, yeah, these, yeah.
To create my sigil.
So how do you know which planetary Kamiya to use? Do you determine that by your intention?
Yeah, we can say that, but the intention is, when I use that, is tied because I tend to use a lot of planetary magic, so I tied my intention to one planet, one day of the week. So when I need the power of a specific planet, then I create the sigil to be into whatever I can craft. So I will use the Kamiya related to this planet.
Oh, okay.
Let's say I do craft something on a Saturday, so I will use Saturn Kamiya.
Right.
to create a sigil. And if I do that on a Monday, then I will use the moon cameo and so on.
That makes sense. I hadn't even considered doing something like that. And I'm looking at these cameos of each of the planets, and some of them obviously have more squares than others.
Yeah, it's made on the basis of a magic of numbers.
Right, right.
So each planet have a different number of power, and the cameo created like on this base. There are, I think, two school of cameo. Two well-known people who create planetary cameo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the one I use the most is the one that I suddenly forget. Gosh. I can't remember right now. Layla, can please, I'm sure you know, can you help me? Can you failing memory? The most well-known, there is one made by Paracelsus.
Pelagorian, no.
And the other one are made by.
I'm looking at it and it doesn't say it. But it says, Lilokin said the intelligence and spirits of a planet are sigils. That's what it says in here too. Yeah. It just, in this book, it's just talking about key numbers, the square using the technique. And it just talks about using the word, the logos, and the where is it? The logos, and I was just the word and the image, the logos and the glyph, the image and the word, and the sigil combining an image and the word to create the energy and align with that energy. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say the two who are the. Oh, wait. Let me see.
And the other one is
William Barrett and Israel Regardi are the traditional forms of sigils. The traditional seals and sigils do not, in all cases, follow the entire numerical sequence of each name. Some of the lower sigils seem to have been shortened or compressed for easier use. We are reproducing them in essentially the same form given by both William Barrett and Israel Regardi. Oh, that just says what they share here in this.
Okay, the one I have in mind are older than that. They're dead since a very long time now.
I don't know. It talks about the Kabbalah.
Yeah.
Derived from the key numbers of the square using the techniques shared in the Kabbalah.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Well, okay, I forget. I forget when I will. Yeah, Pythagorean. It's more
Pythagorean. Yeah,
it's
that's
more
what
to
I'm.
convert letters into
numbers, right?
You know, you have this specific table that is useful, and I personally do use this to convert my shortened word of power into numbers, and then drawing my sigil on this base using a cameo. But the cameo is made, the one I use are made by, I can't remember when I will be able actually to drop a name. I will write it on the comment section below the video, because right now I can't remember. Sorry, probably didn't drink enough coffee.
The Hebrew and Greek methods are the most common sigils. You mentioned before we went on air the rows of 22 petals.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Fine.
is in here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
another way that you can do sigils.
Yeah,
And this one
absolutely.
is, the Golden Dawn, the Hermetic Order of the Golden
Yeah.
Dawn.
See, I told you it was linked to the Golden Dawn.
Yeah. I hadn't seen this, but then again, I hadn't studied any of the Golden Dawn stuff anyways.
I didn't really study either, but I do know this one, and I
Yeah.
think previously there were Hebrew letters, into the rose, the wheel,
Yeah.
and not Roman letters.
Oh, well, this one has Hebrew letters.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. Yeah. This has Hebrew letters. It says 7 middle petals contain the 7 planets, letters of the 7 planets. The 12 outer contain the letters of the zodiac. The 3 inner are the mother letters, and air, fire, and water are those elements. And then you connect it like a tic-tac-toe kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's interesting. I had never used that before. That's interesting.
You will notice maybe on the sigils made by those method, mostly the one with Camilla and the one with the wheel, the rose.
Mm-hmm.
You will notice that on the start of the sigil there is a tiny circle to mark the start.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a little
Line.
yeah, thank you.
Where it ends. Yeah,
You know
yeah.
me too well. A little line to mark the end.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, when I used, I'd have to go back. I don't even know what square I used when I did use a square to do. I'd have to go back and find in my Book of Shadows the square that I used, but I did put the circle in the line when I would do it. Yeah, when you do the same thing like you said, you take the letters and you give it a numerical number and then you draw it. Yeah. But that wasn't the most common way for me to do it. I found it, like you were saying too, it was more personal to do a sentence. And what's the title of the book I was looking? I love this book, Brooke. It's The Magician's Companion. It is a wonderful, wonderful book. It's an older book. I don't even know if you must be able to still get it, right? Oh, it's not that old. 2004. It's not that old, but it covers all kind. It's definitely, it's not something you would sit down and just read from cover to cover. It's more of a resource book. And you name it, it covers it in here. I love this. This was one of the best buys I ever got. But yeah, there's a whole section on sigils.
Well, at least one more method that came into my mind to create one, but I'm afraid I won't be able to explain it clearly enough. It's the 9 chambers method. And I won't be able to explain this one. But it's very alike the sigil rose. It's like something like this. It ties letters into little square, and there is, I think, 9, 3, 3, 3, and then you just pick the section of the drawing to represent a letter, and you combined it, and yeah, I won't be able to explain this one, but take a look on the net.
I was just looking it up because I don't think I had ever heard of that. But you know what? I think that's in here too. Because I'm like, what is that? I think it's in here too. I'm telling you, this book is very awesome. Yeah, it's called, what is it called? The A8 Becker Sigils.
I think that's yeah.
Becker
It sounds
Sigils.
familiar.
Um,
The 8 Becker isn't it writing, an occult writing too?
it takes. Oh, you were talking about Agrippa, weren't you?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm like, because it says this method takes Agrippa's method a bit further. I'm like, oh wait, Agrippa. That's one of the.
That's the one, yeah. And I tend to use the Kamehameha bar by Agrippa. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
So it looks like he uses 27 sounds represented by 9 symbols, and you take those symbols, if it's any, and there's a chart. It looks like a chart that you kind of use, and you take the symbols from them and you merge it into a sigil. So they actually just look like a lot of circles and a lot of lines.
Yeah, that's it. But the representation I know the most is it sounds like it is the same, but I would have to take a look to see if it is absolutely the same. But the one I'm the most familiar with, I'll merge into one drawing with line, like a kind of a square without any line outside, but divide into 9 chambers inside.
Oh,
Okay, I will take a look on the
1,
net.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it looks like it looks like he 27 sounds represented by 9 symbols, where the forms of 3 are identical, a numerical Kabbalah. So there's just these. It looks almost like this, but they have. It's, I don't know. You'd have to look it up because it looks a little.
I don't find anything.
A little weird. Let me share the link with you to show you what I was looking at. I'm going to put it in the chat, Obsidian, so you can tell me if this is sort of what you were talking. Oh, don't do that. I hope you guys didn't hear that. That was loud. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That was my computer. Check that. That's what I was just looking at.
Yeah, yeah. It looks pretty much alike.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But then the picture I'm the most familiar with is like you merge every part of this all together to create a square. Divided inside by those little square. See?
Oh.
You put all together when lines are touching each other. It's the one I'm most familiar with, but I don't find anything right now, and I don't have my book. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Okay, so this one is another method you can use if you want to create a sigil, and yeah, I'm sure I forgot one, but
yeah, there's a lot of different. I think obviously a lot of different methods, but I think the main idea is taking, an intention and creating a visual representation, but not writing it out. So, I mean, if my intention is to gain wealth, it's more of a quick, almost like a snapshot of my words to gain wealth. It's more of a visual representation of that, where my brain knows that it represents. It's like a logo. You see the golden arches, and everybody knows, oh, that's McDonald's. That's or the Nike swish. We all know, oh, that's Nike, kind of thing. It's that whole idea of how your mind can send out or connect or align with that specific intention. Yeah, subliminal. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that. I'm having difficulties tonight.
Me too. This morning, the sun isn't even up.
No, I know the sun's not up here either. It's dark
Yeah.
over here.
Oh. So okay, so usually, usually when you've done your sigil, you need to charge
Hmm.
it. So how do you, when you use it, how do you charge your sigil?
Well, it depends
Mm,
on it depends
I
on the sigil and the intention of the sigil will depend on how I charge that sigil. I mean, I, I've done I've done basic chanting. I've done charging it with my own, whether it's blood or spit or breath. I've used breath as well. Um, it depends on what the intention of the sigil is.
yeah,
What about
right.
you?
The same. It depends. It depends. But as you can guess, I will use mostly fire. What a surprise, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, what a surprise.
I will use fire, but not only that. I can let it rest on my altar for X number of days, or yeah, there is different method for me. Meditate on it, um, watching it for over and over and over again, through days. And there is a lot of again, there is a lot of different method you can use to charge your sigil. It depends on how do you feel with this method. Does it make sense for you? And there is also I have seen that um, I was about to say a belief, but a method. Let's say a method which one that the more people see your sigil, the more it will be empowered. So I've seen people posting on social media a picture of their sigil without necessarily explaining anything, just for it to be seen.
That makes sense to me because, I mean, even if someone is looking at it and they don't understand what it means or what it represents, the idea of, sending energy to something that we see, whether it's positive or negative, it's still sending energy towards it would then empower that. That makes sense to me.
Mhm. It's not something I think I would do, maybe, but I don't think so, just because I'm not someone who shares a lot. I don't share a lot. So it's not something that appeal to me, but it makes sense.
Mm.
So yeah, and when let's say we've made a sigil with whatever method we've talked about and then charged it, in what kind of crafting of spell would you use?
I've done sigils basically for protection, actually. That was my
Wow.
most common one. Um, yeah, was protection. I'm trying to think if there was any other. Oh, I actually did a sigil for healing too.
Mhm.
But I think those are the only two that I've generally used sigils for. Not because I didn't think that it wouldn't be successful. It's just not my go-to. It's not the form of magic that I generally tend to do. I feel almost like when for me at least, when doing a sigil, it's something that I can use, and it sort of is something that I guess is what's the word? Long-standing, but that's not what I mean by it. Oh my God, my mind is not with it today.
No, now
Like
you know what?
it's long lasting. Like I use it for something that either is going to take a long time, or I feel like it's going to take more than just a bam, do the spell and have it manifest quicker. I feel like it's something that's going to take a little more energy or be prolonged. That, jeez.
It's okay. It's perfect. You can't be worse than me. So don't worry. Yeah, it's kind of the same for me. I tend to use sigils in more long-lasting spells. Yeah, the spells that needs more energy or will need more time.
Yeah,
to manifest.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I tend to use this one on that, but though I've used it several times for protection also into a specific charm bag, because I was going to a specific location and I didn't want to see some specific people, and so I've made a charm bag with a sigil in it on this time, and so it was not long lasting. It was now,
Right.
I was in need of it, like right now. So, and it worked perfectly well. But usually, it's
I
not
think
now.
what would be really good is something like that if anybody, not you specific you, but you in a general sense, are going somewhere and want to not be seen, sort of like an invisibility kind of situation, crafting a sigil and maybe, temporarily putting it on, yourself.
What why I am laughing, because in this situation I've just explained, I've came to this location with this charm bag in my pocket and I've drawn runes on my nails.
Yeah. I was just thinking sigils could work. And that's what I mean. I feel like sometimes when I think of runes, the Futhark runes, I think of sigils. I know some people have used, actually, isn't there a popular one, the Helm of, what is it?
There
Oh,
is.
yeah, that are like a seal or a sigil made from the runes.
Yeah. There is one. Usually when and that's it. Sometimes it's difficult to separate any bind rune. When you bind several rune together in one specific glyph you want, it's pretty much like a sigil.
Yeah,
It's
that's what
pretty
I'm
much
saying.
the same, but okay, it's runes, so it's not a sigil, right? But in the end, it looked like it. And bind rune, I have one specific one that I created years ago that I still use very often. It's one that is really empowered and charged because I used it and used it and used it and used it. But it's not a sigil, it's a bind rune. Yeah, but it looks alike.
Yeah, I mean, they do. They look very similar. I mean, there is a little subtle difference, but it's very similar. They're very similar. And I mean, the purpose is almost the same. I mean, or could be.
The way I'm using rune, it's the purpose is the same. It's the same idea. Using a glyph, some kind of drawing, writing, to represent your intention or what you want to achieve.
Mm. Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
I know. So Lilocan or Hellbound Heathen, same, said, oh, they're touching on the third highly contested argument in the pagan community. Are rune sigils the same as medieval magic sigils? I don't think they're the same. I think they're very similar. And I think they look alike, right? And I think their intention, they can be used for the same type of intention.
Yes, it represents something you want to achieve or a word of powers, but obviously it's not the same because the rune were used to actually write sentence, and you couldn't write a full sentence with sigil. So rune is an alphabet.
Right.
Sigil is a drawing. So the basic is not the same, but in the end, when you combine rune in a bind rune, and when you draw a sigil, it kind of look alike.
Mm. Wow, there's noise over here on the house. I apologize. No, my husband is putting together a shelving unit for my daughter's room. So
oh yeah.
I was just trying to see if they say anything in this book in regards to bound runes and comparing it to sigils, but they don't. So yeah, so it doesn't. Someone retracted a. Oh, so Lilocan, what do you think? What do you think in regards to rune sigils, magic sigils? What do you think? Yeah, runes are letters. Yeah, and that's what we were saying, that, you know, the runes, well, at least the Futhark runes were letters and was an alphabet and was used, and sigils weren't used as an alphabet or a language in that same way. But when you bind runes together, oh my God, my cat is going crazy. When you bind runes together to craft these, and I gotta look that up. There's one, the Helm of something or other, I believe, is protection sigils bound together to create a protective.
There is a lot. There are some really old ones.
Yeah.
And some recent ones.
Something weird has happened to my cursor.
So why do you worry, Layla? It can be worse now.
What did he say?
He said, "Oh no,
don't." He has a bad reputation. Whatever. Who cares? Share with us your thoughts.
That reminds me of the song by Joan Jett, "Bad Reputation," that I like a lot.
Oh, I like that song too.
It's nice. You should take this one for your intro on your video, Layla.
Oh, I know, right? Runes.
So what are you looking for?
I was looking for that specific. There it is. There it is. I found it. What is it? It is the Helm of Awe. The Helm of Awe. It is, I know you've seen it. One of the most mysterious and powerful symbols in Norse mythology. I think it is for protection, I believe.
Can you share it into the chat?
Yes.
For me to see.
Yes, I'm sure you've seen this
before. For me, because the names aren't the same in your language and in mine.
I know. Yeah, Lilocan is self-censoring. Oh, no, he isn't.
No,
Well, he's not sharing his "don't drag me into the debt" debate.
it doesn't
We
want
know
to.
you have an opinion. We know you
It,
have an opinion.
yeah, I was thinking of this one, but it's not called the same. And
It's not. What's it called in?
I can't remember.
You can't remember. That doesn't sound like a good name.
Yeah, okay. So since we have found a Crippet's name, I will then take a look to this one. It's will something. I can't remember. Can't remember right now, but it's a very well known one. And as far as I might say, very effective one. I've used it a couple of times when I was in need of quick protection.
You know, it's very appealing to me, the way that it's set,
Love this one.
the way that it's sort of very symmetrical, and it appeals to me very. It
I love
appeals to
this
me. I like the way it looks. It sort
one.
of reminds me of a snowflake, kind of, but
Yeah. But it's more a magical, Norse magical symbolism
yeah.
symbol than actually a sigil. It came closer to a seal if you kind of, because
It
it's
does. It looks more like a seal.
yeah, because it might have been contained into a circle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to me, just only to me, don't get mad over it.
We're gonna
It's
get mad. We're gonna get pissed off.
Quick, can I join?
We're gonna get pissed.
You want me to bite?
You're gonna start some fire.
Yeah.
Oh, see.
So, okay, when I'm not using Sigil all by its own, like I've said, drawing it on a piece of paper or, okay, well, usually I carved it on the wax of a candle, or I mark it on a piece of tissue or anything I'm using to craft a charm bag, or on a parchment that I later add into a spell bottle, or I can just and simply burn it, to free the energy once it's charged. And yeah, that's the actually for the bind rune. The bind rune are the one I tend to carve and put on some places not that discreet. I have I have a huge bind rune drawn on my door with ashes and it's yeah, it can be intimidating when you first walk into my place. But that's usually the way I tend to use one. And I don't know what else we can tell about Sigil.
Yeah, I don't think they're really. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, on how you gonna use it and what for.
right. And I think you can use sigils in sort of any sort of way. I mean, I mean, like you said, in candles as its own thing, you can just craft a sigil and empower it, and that's it.
Mhm.
They're very versatile, I think, and you don't really need a lot to craft a sigil. I mean, you can sit outside, in dirt and make your sigil in the dirt. I do know that I have some people and some things that I've read and some people I've had conversations with, instead of sharing it with everyone, there's an idea of once you craft the sigil and you empower the sigil, then you get rid of it. Don't think about it ever again. Where then you were talking about some people share it, and the more people that see it, they empower it. So there's sort of two different schools of thoughts on what you should do with it. You know, I actually, what I have done when I've used it is I've crafted it. I've empowered it. I haven't destroyed it, but I've put it somewhere where I still had it on the paper that I crafted it, and I sort of tucked it away. And then later took it out when I felt like the intention manifested, and then I burned it. But I right now, I kind of feel drawn to crafting a sigil and then sharing it without saying what it's for. I really actually, and I have an idea. I feel inspired to use it in a specific way. Actually, now I just had two ideas. Use them in specific ways. One is really appealing to me at this very moment.
You should write it down then.
Yeah, I think I should do that.
My mind is already onto it. We've lost CricketSong.
No, because now, like, I'm going do that idea. I am. That would be so cool. Oh, that would, and that's exactly what I need for that situation.
So great.
And I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. I think I do. I absolutely do.
I'm gonna work on that. I am so gonna do that. Oh, and that's a
good idea. I think it's a good idea.
I do too. So anyway, I think I really feel drawn to do that. Where in the past, you know, I wouldn't really share it with anybody. So I really think sigils are very versatile. That can be used in really a number of ways.
There are. Well, okay. You understood. I tend to not look twice at a sigil I've made. But again, each time I've done one was for a different purpose. Because, you know, each situation is different. Even if it's on the same topic, let's say protection, you probably won't need exactly the same protection from one time to another. There is subtle or not so subtle differences. So I create one each time I need one with a specific intention and situation in mind. And I don't look at it twice. Once it's charged, I add it into whatever I need to add it if I've planned to do that, or I just simply burn it. And that's it. I don't look at it. Which, again, I do differently with bind rune. I do not burn bind rune, and I can put it on the outside for the world to see, which I don't with sigil.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what more we can say in regards to sigil. Anybody, we started a little late, so we have about 5 minutes. Anybody have any questions before we sort of wrap this up? Yeah, Lilokan didn't even share his ideas.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to have
a bad reputation.
Yeah, any bad than he already got, he said.
Well, so we're actually not sure what obsidian. Do you drink coffee?
Sure. Yeah, sure. On the morning like this, a whole, bowl.
I don't know what we're doing next week. I was waiting to hear from Thorn to see if we could schedule her. We don't have any topic or anything scheduled next week. So
we could do the one we've skipped the last time. You
oh, was it moon magic?
Protection magic.
Protection magic. All right, we'll play that. Protection magic next week. I want to see if I can get get in touch with Thorn to see what week she'd like to come on, and maybe another guest, because I wanted to have Cole. Maybe I can try to touch base with Cole and get him back on the show, or another guest on the show.
Do we ever do? Have we ever done? Yeah, something like this. Moon magic. I'm not sure.
Didn't we come up? Did we cover moon magic?
I don't remember. Hey, can people in chat tell if we ever done?
We did. I mean, I have a list of what we've done. I feel like we've done moon magic, but I could be wrong. Lunar phases, gods, shadow people, craft of spell writing, spell construction, relationship with the goddess, baneful magic, elements. Oh, we didn't. We haven't. We have not discussed moon magic.
Might be to pick for later show.
I have it crossed off on our list. Were we going to talk about it one day and then didn't?
Probably. Maybe
I better take it off because and look at protection magic is highlighted, and I know we were supposed to talk about it, but we didn't.
So let's say next week is protection magic. If it's
we'll talk protection magic next week.
All right.
You never see her sip her coffee. She's sipping when I'm talking, so you can't see her. Yeah, and I want to get Thorn back on the show, and like I said, another guest. I have to look at my list. I know Benabel is pretty busy this month, so maybe Bettina, maybe we can find someone else to chat with us. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, Wyrds, Witches, Witchcraft on Facebook, go check it out. I do a free reading every month. I just pulled a name, and Brooke Bell, who was in our chat today, she won the free reading. So I do that every month. We have nice conversations in there. Sometimes we continue our conversation that we've had here in there with other individuals. We have some fun topics and some educational topics. So you should go check out our Facebook group where Obsidian and I hang out.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if I'm discreet right now.
Yeah. But she's in there. I know she is. She's keeping an eye on things if I'm not in there. So thank you all for chit-chatting with us and being here. It was fun.
Yes,
thank you, Brooke. It was nice talking with everybody. And join us next week for Protection Magic.
Yeah. Et oui. Et donc, du coup, c'est la fin. Et donc, c'est à moi que revient le mot de la fin, comme d'habitude. Même si, à la fin, on n'a pas grand-chose à dire, à part que c'est la fin. Donc, à la semaine prochaine. Bye-bye.
Good night. See you next week. I love you. Blessed be. Bye-bye.